Yo, what is up guys? Lyric here. Today we're going to be talking about how to make a free-to-play game great and with hardly any complaining, because there'll always be someone that complains about something. And first off, a free-to-play game. For an example, if you ever played Warframe, that game is 100% free. You can enjoy it for hours without putting a cent into the game. But what makes that game so good? There are other games like this that you don't need to put a cent into the game to enjoy it. For example, you could play Fortnite, Dota 2, League of Legends, games like that, and they're very, very popular games. And you don't need to put any money into them to get the full experience. Now, what things do people hate free-to-play games more than anything? I'll say loot box systems. Loot box systems are probably the most hated system in any form of gaming. When a loot box, even if it's a free loot box system, people dislike it. I don't like loot box systems. I know why they're there, but I do not like them. I'm not a fan of loot box systems. I'm more of a fan of DLC than anything else. But when it's a free-to-play game, it's hard to argue loot box systems in it. Depending on what's in the loot box, you can have a loot box system in a game, but it's got to be purely cosmetics. If a loot box gives you any advantage in the game against another player, it's unfair. It cannot be there. Yeah, that's the only way you can have it. You can't have a loot box system where something that gives you like a constant, your character shakes less when using a sniper rifle. Something like that. You can't have that in a loot box system. You only can have cosmetic systems in a loot box system. Especially when you're going up against people in a game. You can't have something that makes you better than anyone else in that game from the loot box system. The only time you can have something that makes you better off in the game is from playing the game. You can either grind your way to get that good, or you can grind that way to get the gear that makes you that good, or you can develop the skills to make you that good in the game. For example, Warframe, you get armor and stuff like that there. Fortnite, you get better from skills the more you play. I know the Warframe, they also use skills involved in that. But yeah, there's no way of actually getting any armor in. The number one way I think you could add anything to a game that makes it fair and it's free to play is paid cosmetics. Paid cosmetic. I know you don't make as much money from a paid cosmetic as a loot box system, because a loot box system you could just basically put that dial down to like 0.1 chance of getting that item, and they're gonna have to pay so much money to get that item. Instead of them buying it one time, it might be a bit more money, but it'll be less over in the long run by having that one item. You know what I mean? That's one way you can add to it. Another way is a form of currency in games. Every game has this. Like you buy currency in that game and you can buy cosmetics with that. Or you can buy paid loot boxes that you get cosmetics with that. There should never be a paid method in a game that you can pay for something that makes you better than anyone else in a free to play. Like you see like Dota. Dota does this really well. You can't pay Dota. Maybe you can now, but no. Well, maybe you can pay for a character in it. But you can't pay for something like an enchantment that always makes you better in each match and you start with it. You can pay for cosmetics. I'm not sure there's a loot box system now in Dota, but I know you can pay for cosmetics. Another way you can add it is maybe paid for deals, paid maps. A lot of people may argue this point and say, no, you cannot charge people for maps. But I'll say paid maps is probably a fair way of getting into it, because you're already getting like a lot of stuff for free, like in Dota. I don't think this would work in Warframe. Maybe they do this already, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can get DLC in the form of this. But paid maps in like say games like Dota or Fortnite or something like that. I know they already don't do that, because Fortnite and PUBG both release loot box systems and they make a lot of money from that. And while PUBG, you got to pay up front for it. But if a game has like paid maps in it, it's more reasonable than a loot box system, I think. I prefer having like, if I have to pay for this to get into the map, and that's a one time and done, and then everyone else that has the same thing, would probably be the paid currency into the game. Like if you play PUBG or if you play Fortnite, they have a currency in the game that makes you buy loot boxes. So you don't really need to put money into the game to get loot boxes. You can get it for free. It will take you longer, but it's 100% free that way. At least you have a chance of getting it. And a lot of people say loot box system is like gambling. There should be an age restriction or age limit on a game. Like Fortnite's for everybody. So kids do play this, and kids should not be allowed to do the loot box system because it's a form of gambling, which is true. I understand that. However, they can get these things for free if they grind their way to it. So it's very, very hard to take that away. But yeah, I'm a strong believer of, if you're going to add a free-to-play game, there has to be some sort of paid method in the game to make it better, for one, to make it a lot better, and to keep the lights on in the game. I would like to know what you guys think of a free-to-play game. What elements are needed in it? Or do you think every free-to-play game is trash? Say like Black Desert Online. That game was okay. Graphics are amazing, but it's trash because it's not free-to-play. You got to pay to get into it, and there's so much pay-to-win in it. I really like free-to-play games. I think it's a good way of getting into some games and not having to spend a cent into them. Or putting money into a game that you actually believe in more than they have to buy a game at the start. I'd really like to know what you guys think. And if you guys want to help us out in any way, best thing you can do is share this video on Facebook, Twitter, or Reddit. It really helps us out. And my name's Lyric, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.